Hi, I'm Lila, the voice that picks up at Old Ridge after hours when Dr. Tancredi and the team have gone home for the night. I'll be honest with you up front, because we've known each other a long time. Old Ridge was one of the very first practices we ever worked with. This isn't going to be one of those reports where I dramatically uncover a pile of lost money. That's not what Old Ridge is. In a town where folks know Dr. Tancredi's name about as well as they know the sheriff's or the mayor's, and where half of them already have his personal number for when something's wrong with their pet, there isn't a mountain of missed business for me to find. And honestly, that's a good thing. It means he built something people trust. So think of this less as a performance review and more as a quiet ledger of the nights I was useful, the calls I caught so nobody had to wake the doctor, and the couple of moments that genuinely mattered. Let's take a look. Over 3 months, 57 calls came to me after hours, a gentle trickle, which is exactly right for a practice this size. I handled about 100 minutes of conversation, and of the callers who actually told me what they needed, I sorted out about two-thirds on my own. That added up to roughly 89 minutes of time the front desk didn't have to spend the next morning. But the number I'd point to isn't any of those. It's the two emergencies I routed straight to the ER line. In a small town, those two calls are the whole reason I'm here. A frightened owner at night reaching real help instead of a voicemail beep. Everything else is a bonus. My recommendation: nothing to fix on these numbers. They're healthy for the size. The one thing worth a quick check: confirm the exact words Lila uses when she routes an emergency. In a practice where Dr. Tancredi is the brand, that handoff message should sound the way he'd want it to. Here's where the calls go. Almost everyone who reaches me engages. Only 3 callers hung up at the greeting, which is barely a blip. The interesting step is further down. Of the callers who told me what they wanted, a noticeable group didn't move on to a task I could complete. In a practice like Old Ridge, I suspect I know why. A lot of these folks aren't really looking for an AI to book something. They're hoping to reach the doctor. And when that's what they want, the kindest thing I can do is take a clear message and a number so he can call them back. My advice: that intent to task drop is the only soft spot, and it's a very Old Ridge kind of soft spot. Callers wanting Dr. Tancredi personally. So rather than trying to make me resolve more, I'd make sure that every one of those calls leaves with a message and a callback number captured. The goal here isn't a higher resolution rate. It's making sure no one who wanted the doctor slips through the night unheard. And here's what people called about: refills, wellness and exam questions, vaccinations, the odd urgent or sick pet, a couple of surgery and scheduling questions. Small numbers, all handled. Worth noting, nearly half the calls didn't fall into a tidy category at all, which again fits Old Ridge. A lot of after hours calls to a practice like this aren't "I'd like to book a dental." There "Is the doctor around?" or "I just have a quick question." That's not a gap. It's the texture of a small town practice. My two light touches: take them or leave them. First, the 7 refill calls are the one category that could quietly grow. An after hours refill request captured cleanly is a prescription that stays with Old Ridge instead of drifting to an online pharmacy, so it's worth making sure those always capture the medication and a callback number. Second, if Dr. Tancredi ever wants a clearer picture of those uncategorized calls, we can tighten the tagging. But honestly, for a practice this size, it may not be worth the bother. So that's my 3 months, plainly told. I'm not going to claim I transformed anything. Old Ridge was already in good hands long before I started answering the phone at night. What I can say is this: 57 callers reached a voice instead of silence, the front desk got a little time back, and twice, when it really mattered, an emergency got where it needed to go. For a quiet after hours helper in a town that already trusts its vet, I think that's a fair night's work. Thank you, Dr. Tancredi. It's an honor to keep the line warm for you.